Yo, what is up, Cowboys Nation? We've got some crazy heat coming out of Dallas today, and no, this isn't just another offseason rumor to scroll past. This one is loud, this one is wild, and this one is about one of the biggest names in football, Christian McCaffrey. You heard that right. The buzz today is that the Dallas Cowboys are reportedly circling a potential blockbuster trade deal that could land them none other than Christian McCaffrey himself, the all-pro running back who, when healthy, is arguably one of the most dynamic, game-changing offensive weapons in the entire NFL. I know your first reaction might be something like, what? That's ridiculous, or there's no way the 49ers let him go. Or even, why would the Cowboys even do that after what they just did with Micah Parsons? And listen, you're not wrong for feeling skeptical. But this rumor has been gaining serious traction, and whether it's smoke or fire, it's got fans, analysts, and insiders all talking. So sit tight, grab your favorite Cowboys hoodie, and let's break this whole thing down. Now, let's start with the big picture. The Dallas Cowboys are coming off a season filled with highs and lows. After showing flashes of dominance, the playoff exit was once again disappointing, and fans have been crying out for one thing: a real shot at a Super Bowl. And when you look at the moves they've been making this offseason, extending Hunter Luepke, signing a couple of young running backs, trading Micah Parsons for a haul of draft picks and veterans, it's clear that the front office isn't just sitting on its hands. They're reshuffling the deck, maybe even reloading for one more shot with Dak Prescott before they have to make a major decision about his long-term future. So now, cue the noise, because as the dust starts to settle from those moves, here comes this insane rumor. The Cowboys might be targeting Christian McCaffrey in a deal that would send draft picks and possibly a young defensive player to San Francisco. Now pause right there. Think about that for a second. Christian McCaffrey, the guy who can break 80-yard runs, who lines up as a receiver and roasts linebackers, who carried the 49ers offense for half the season, that guy, in a Cowboys uniform? It sounds almost too good to be true, and yet, here we are, discussing it like it's a real possibility. And I'll tell you this, if Jerry Jones is serious about making a splash, if he's really trying to give this team the missing piece to finally get over the hump, then a guy like McCaffrey is exactly the kind of player who fits that bill. But of course, nothing is that simple, and before we start printing jerseys and celebrating in the streets of Arlington, we've got to look at this from every angle. Let's start with McCaffrey himself. The guy is elite, period. His combination of vision, speed, balance, and receiving ability is almost unmatched. When he's on the field, defenses have to change their game plan entirely. He opens up the field for quarterbacks, stretches linebackers thin, and creates mismatches every single snap. And don't forget, this man has had games where he scores 3 or even 4 touchdowns all by himself. He's a fantasy football god, but more importantly, he's a real-life nightmare for opposing defenses. So from a pure talent perspective, adding him to the Cowboys' offense would be a home run. Imagine Dak Prescott under center, McCaffrey in the backfield, CeeDee Lamb lined up wide, Brandon Cooks in motion. It's enough to make even the most seasoned defensive coordinators sweat bullets. You're talking about explosive potential on every down. Play action becomes deadly. The screen game becomes lethal. Even goal line formations get a whole new wrinkle. And this is a big but, we can't ignore the other side of the equation. McCaffrey comes with a price tag, both financially and in terms of draft capital. He's not exactly on a rookie deal anymore, and his contract carries a hefty hit to the cap. If the Cowboys go all in on him, they're going to have to make sacrifices elsewhere, whether that's along the offensive line, at cornerback, or even in terms of roster depth. And then there's the injury history. Look, we all know McCaffrey has had some bad luck over the years. From hamstrings to ankles to soft tissue issues, he's missed significant time in multiple seasons. That's not a deal breaker, but it's definitely a red flag, especially for a team like Dallas that has been burned in the past by investing in aging skill players who couldn't stay healthy. The last thing fans want is to trade away valuable picks, absorb a big contract, and then watch their star additions sit on the sidelines in street clothes for half the season. Now let's swing back to the Niners for a second. Why would San Francisco even consider dealing a guy like McCaffrey? That's the million-dollar question. Some insiders believe they're feeling the pinch of their own cap situation, with key players like Nick Bosa, Deebo Samuel, and Brandon Ayuk needing extensions or already locked into pricey deals. They may also be thinking long-term about durability. If they believe McCaffrey's best years are behind him or that his injuries are catching up, they might try to sell high now while they can still command top value. And let's not forget they've been drafting running backs like it's going out of style. Elijah Mitchell, Ty Davis-Price, and even some undrafted guys have shown flashes in that Shanahan system. Maybe they believe they can plug someone else into that role and still stay competitive. So let's say, hypothetically, the Cowboys pull the trigger. What would a trade look like? Most mock scenarios have Dallas sending 2 third-round picks or maybe even a second and a fourth plus a young player, possibly someone like Osa Odighizuwa or Nahshon Wright, in exchange for McCaffrey. That's a steep price, but not insane if they believe he's the missing piece. And let me tell you, from a marketing and locker room standpoint, it would shake things up in a major way. The fans would go wild. McCaffrey Cowboys jerseys would be flying off shelves. Media coverage would go nuclear. The vibe in Dallas would instantly shift from hopeful to all-out title contenders. Now here's where it gets interesting. Some fans are already celebrating the idea. They're calling this the "can celebrate" era, meaning, if this trade goes through, we can finally start celebrating a Cowboys team that's truly built to win it all. But others? They're not buying it. They're saying it's too risky, that it's classic Jerry Jones showmanship, and that the team should focus on developing their young core instead of going all in on a 29-year-old running back with mileage. And honestly, both sides have valid points. This is the kind of deal that could make or break a franchise's momentum. If it works, Dallas becomes a top-tier Super Bowl threat overnight. If it fails, they could be saddled with cap issues and fewer picks while their rivals like the Eagles and Niners keep building through the draft. And speaking of rivals, don't think Philly and San Fran aren't watching this rumor closely. The Eagles in particular would hate to see McCaffrey in Dallas. They already lost out on Micah Parsons when Dallas traded him to Green Bay, and now there's talk of Dallas adding another star. That would definitely raise eyebrows and maybe even trigger a reaction move. We've seen it before. One NFC team makes a splash, and suddenly everyone else starts getting aggressive. The arms race is real, folks. So where do we go from here? Is this just off-season noise? A smoke bomb thrown into the rumor mill to keep fans engaged during the dog days of training camp? Or is there actual substance behind the scenes? Sources close to the team have hinted that Jerry is feeling the pressure more than ever. He knows his window with Doc and this current roster is closing. He knows the fanbase is starving for more than just wild card appearances. And he's never been shy about making a headline-grabbing move if he thinks it gives the team a shot at glory. Remember the Amari Cooper trade? That one looked risky too, and it paid off, at least short-term. This could be another version of that, only even bigger. Now I want to hear from you. Would you make the trade? Are you team go for it, or team be patient? Drop your take in the comments. Do you want McCaffrey in that navy and silver, or do you think this is just off-season madness at its finest? And hey, if you're loving this content and want more breakdowns, rumors, news, and reaction, you know what to do. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell so you never miss an upload. Because whether this McCaffrey trade happens or not, one thing's for sure: the Cowboys are cooking up something big this year. And you're gonna want to be right here when it all goes down.